Welcome to the Goldenberg Destiny Project. In the previous episode number 31, we spoke about the house of Achav, how the royal house of Achav in the kingdom of Israel, that they introduced Baal worship into Eretz Yisrael, that Achav married Izebel, who was a Phoenician princess, and she was a Baal worshipper, and she continued to be a Baal worshipper. Achav became a Baal worshipper, and there was a big proliferation of Baal worship in Eretz Yisrael. And it really corrupted the whole country. The whole kingdom of Eretz Yisrael started because of Shlomo, because Shlomo was not careful, and he allowed the pagan princesses to do avodah zarah in their palaces, and therefore Hashem told him that he would take away part of the kingdom and rip it away from him. So the 10 northern tribes were taken away from the kingdom of Yehuda during the time of Yerovam and Rechavam. Now, God did not just rip them away and leave them on their own. He sent Tachiyah Shloini, his Navi, that he should appoint Yerovam as the king of the kingdom of Israel. He appointed him. So his appointment was by divine divine instruction and authority. And he was supposed to make sure that the kingdom of Israel was proper, and they followed the Torah, and they were loyal to Rabbi Shalom, and they went to the Beis HaMikdash, and they worshipped Rabbi Shalom. But he didn't. He was afraid that people would come into the Beis HaMikdash, they'd see Yechavam sitting and him standing, maybe they would want to read, whatever his thoughts were. He wanted to create a schism, a split. There should not be really sister kingdoms, but there should be a split. And he put up the golden calves, the symbols. He said these are the symbols for God, and he put them up, and he allowed everybody to sacrifice on private bamas. And that is a very big violation, because you're supposed to go to the Beis HaMikdash, and Shutei Chutz, to go bring a carbon outside Beis HaMikdash, is a very big aveira. And he told them to do it, because this way the people had a strong urge to sacrifice to Rabbi Shalom. He did not allow them to go to Yerushalayim. Therefore, he gave them permission to do that, and it was a complete corruption and a collapse of the kingdom of Israel. Now, this went for a number of years. The house of Yerovam eventually was ended by assassination. It was followed by others, and then Omri, and then Achav. The house of Achav reached a new depravity. They instituted Baal worship in the kingdom of Israel. The first king was appointed by a Navi, a divine messenger, to appoint Yerovam. At this point, it happened again, and this would be the last time. This is the last time they were given the opportunity to have a king who was divinely appointed through a Navi. So Eliahu Navi, who was the prophet during the time of Achav, and he had a lot of conflict with which I'm not going to get into, but it's all in the psukim. I'm going to read to you a series of psukim. And God sent Eliyahu on a mission. He told him like this. And God said to him, "Go retrace your steps to Damascus desert, and when you come, you shall anoint Chazael as king over Aram." Eliyahu's job was to appoint Chazael as the king over Aram, the Syrians. And Chazael was not Jewish, he was Syrian. But he appointed him to be king, and he had a mission. And you shall appoint Yehu ben Nimshi as king over Israel, and you shall appoint Elisha ben Shafat of Aveil-mecholah to be your successor as a prophet. And it will be that Yehu will kill those who escape the sword of Chazael. That means Chazael's sword will come down on Israel, and he will kill people. Yehu will kill those who escape the sword of Chazael. Elisha will kill those who escape the sword of Yehu. And I will allow 7,000 in Israel to survive, all those who did not bend their knee to the Baal, and all the mouths that did not kiss it. So here we read that that God extended protection to 7,000 people. 7 people who did not bend the knee to the Baal, and the mouth didn't kiss it. So that means how widespread was Baal worship. There were only 7,000 people that were not. I don't know how we project what the population of Israel was at that time. It was a couple of 100,000 for sure. Maybe it was millions, who knows? But it was certainly a lot. So it means the whole population, except for 7,000, were Baal worshippers. Amazing. Meanwhile, when Eliahu passed away, and he had not yet appointed Yehu to be the king, so Elisha had the job. And Elisha took care of him, made him king. And he told him what he has to do. He has to destroy the house of Achav, and he has to eradicate the Baal worshippers. So Yehu now was king. He had destroyed the house of Achav. He was now king. And now he had to go after the Baal worshippers. So he had his people, his trusted people, so he mobilized them. Okay, and now we're going to go take care of the Baal worshippers. Okay, so now we're in Melachim Beis, and I'm going to read to you what it says. Yehu called together all the people, and he said to them, Achav served the Baal a little bit, but Yehu will serve them a lot. In other words, he was talking to the population that was thoroughly infected with Baal worship, and he couldn't just go tell them that, we're all going to become very faithful Jews. And now he said, call to me all the prophets of the Baal, and all who serve him, and all his priests. Not a man shall be missing. Nobody shall get all the Baal worshippers, get them all together. But I'm about to offer a great sacrifice to the Baal. Whoever fails to appear shall not live. Attendance was mandatory. If you don't come, you're dead. Yehu did this as a ruse in order to destroy the Baal worshippers. And Yehu said, proclaim an assembly for the Baal. And they proclaimed it. Yehu sent summonses throughout Israel, and all the Baal worships came. All of them came. There was not a man who failed to appear. And they came to the temple of the Baal, and the temple of Baal was filled from end to end. It was jammed full of Baal worshippers. And he said to the wardrobe manager, provide robes for all the Baal worshippers. And he provided robes for them. So now they all were very easily identified. They're wearing these special Baal robes. And Yehu, along with Yehoiada ben Rechev, whoever he is, entered the temple of the Baal, and he said to the Baal worshippers, search and discern if there are any of the servants of God beside the Baal worshippers. See if they slipped in here among you a from Yid. No, make sure they get out of here. They don't belong here. Only Baal worshippers. Okay? And then they went in to offer sacrifices and burnt offerings and oilos, and Yehu stationed 80 men outside, and he instructed them, if any of the men I deliver into your hands escapes, you will pay for it with your lives. And when they finished making the burnt offerings, Yehu instructed the soldiers and the captains, come and attack them. Not a man shall be allowed to leave. They attacked them with swords. The soldiers and captains struck them down and went into the city of the temple of Baal. They brought out all the pillars of the temple of the Baal and burned them. They smashed the Baal pillars. They leveled the temple of Baal, made it into a latrine, and thus Yehu eradicated the Baal from Israel. Okay? So he did the job. Okay. So let's figure something out. All the Baal worshippers were packed into the temple of the Baal. Let's say the temple of the Baal was a huge stadium. Let's say it was let's say it could have 30,000 people in it, let's say. 30,000 people, jammed end to end. A lot of people, right? But before we said that there were only 7,000 people that weren't Baal worshippers. That means they had to pack in hundreds of thousands of people and kill all of them, and only 7,000 people were left in all of the kingdom of Israel. It doesn't make sense. Clearly, this means something else. When God said to him that he will allow 7,000 in Israel to survive, those who did not bend their knee to the Baal, what does that mean? They did not bend their knee to the Baal. Does it mean that they weren't Baal worshippers? No, that's not what it means. What it means is that they made no compromises, no concessions to the Baal. They didn't close their stores on Baal festivals. They didn't go to any place where there was any, like a Baal party, even if there was no Baal worship there. If the Baal worshippers got together and they had a party and celebration, they did not go. As far as they were concerned, the Baal did not exist. People take vacations during Christmas. Okay, fine, that's a concession. That is the concession to a Chagah. It is. And these people, 7,000 people who were steadfast and refused to have any acknowledgement of the Baal, these 7,000 people had special protection from God. The rest of the people, Chazael is coming in and he's killing people, everybody's vulnerable. You probably didn't kill all the population, but everybody was in danger. These 7,000 people were not in danger. This is what it says over here. Now, who are the actual Baal worshippers? It gives us a snapshot of what was going on then. The actual Baal worshippers were the people that fit into that temple. Those were the actual Baal worshippers. And they were killed. But those people, especially because their positions of power and their relation to the royal house, those people had such an influence on the rest of society that the rhythms of the society were very much connected to the Baal calendar and the Baal festivals and the Baal celebrations. So in that sense, the Baal worship did permeate Israel, but actual Baal worship not. Once these people came into that stadium and they were killed, then the Baal worship was gone. There were no more Baal holidays, no more Baal celebrations, nothing. There was no more social influence of the Baal on Kingdom of Israel. So Yehu now accomplished his mission. Now his job was to clean up the whole thing. Take away the golden calves. He didn't do that. His job was to stop the private bombers. He didn't do that. Again, I don't know why. It's hard to know, but he probably fell into the same trap as Yerovam, that now that he's got a crown on his head, he doesn't want to lose it. And if he just takes everything away and all the people go to Yerushalayim, he may end up losing his kingdom. His kingdom may reunite with Yehuda, so he didn't do that. His line lasted for close to 100 years, and those were pretty decent times in Israel. Afterwards, then there was a lot of turmoil, assassinations and revolts, and I'm not going to get into all these now. There's on the website, RabbiReinman.com, I have every episode, I write the chapter first, and the chapter is on the website. So the chapter is fully detailed. You get the name of every single king and every single detail. So if you want to know that, you can go there. But suffice it to say that it went from worst to worst. It was down, 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 until at the end, the Assyria was rising, Ashur was rising, and Assyria conquered the northern kingdom, and they deported the 10 tribes. These are the 10 lost tribes. We call them the 10 lost tribes because they were deported then, but really they were the 10 lost tribes for hundreds of years before. They were really lost. And there's two opinions in the Gemara, if they will ever return or they won't return. They probably, who knows. One time I was offered to join a mission to China to go find the 10 lost tribes. I declined. I didn't go. And, I'm imagining they didn't find them because I never heard about it. But the 10 lost tribes are, now even though they were all deported, not all, even though they were deported to different countries, but some of them, there was a small element of each tribe were refugees in Yehuda. So the Jewish people today include not only Yehuda and Binyamin and Levi, of course, but they also include elements from all the other Shvatim. So it says in the Torah, Shvatim are not going to be bottle. They weren't bottle, but as being independent entities, separate entities, that came to an end. will it ever return? Who knows? But throughout history, whenever there would be messianic movements, these false messiahs, they would come along and say that they met with the 10 lost tribes and they're excited to come and they're sending armies and everything. So it's just a lot of legend and a lot of this. But in the end, it was the downfall of Israel was the weakness of its kings. Okay, thank you very much, and we'll see you again. I'd like to invite you to visit me at RabbiReinman.com and explore all my works, both completed and still in progress, and kindly take the opportunity to lend your support on the participant page. Thank you very much, and be well.